If you received an elder law referral this week that said, I need help with Medicare, Medicaid, long-term care planning, would you or somebody from your firm handle it, or would that be an outbound referral? I think this is a quick answer.
Oh, for me, outbound referral is just not in my wheelhouse. I don't see it as a scalable business on my end, but I know a lot of people.
Okay.
Definitely a referral, not in my area. So
Elder law is kind of a broad category. If you're getting into like the nitty gritty of conservatorships, if you're getting into the nitty gritty of Medicaid planning, I'd farm that out because that's not my main practice.
Yeah.
Right? And I know attorneys, I have really good friends who are attorneys and that's all they do. And they send me trust business because they don't like dealing with that. So that's a good way for me to farm it out.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it still, would you still perceive that as an equally valuable referral because you can basically trade it for a planning referral? So if a real estate professional brings you an elder attorney referral, you can still indirectly monetize that by essentially getting a reciprocal referral.
Yeah.
For,
And it's
for
really easy for me to do that because I have really strong friendships and colleagues who specialize in basically every area of law that I have to interact with, divorce attorneys and so forth. So yeah, it's easy for me to do that. And that going back to the earlier thing, how attorneys in the beginning of their career grow, right? For Al and the other, the newer attorneys in our group, referrals for me were everything. Like when I got my very first estate planning client way back in 2002, they were more valuable for me to send them out to the financial planner and the CPA than they were for what they get paid. And so as transactional attorneys, that's what we grow our practice, right? I'm not doing advertising in the yellow pages. It's been about 15 years since I've had to do that. And I don't really like people coming in off the streets that I don't know, but referrals are our lifeblood. So yeah, I mean, an elder law client is good an estate plan client to me because I have people I can farm it to that would be grateful and they find a way of bringing me out stuff that they don't want to deal with.
awesome. So what are the top 3 ways so far that you've earned the estate or probate business since you got started out?
Definitely just networking, really building a really solid network of just knowing a lot of people. I mean, that takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. I mean, just weekends and just going through a lot of things. And definitely I do a lot of content as well. So I love educating. I'm just big on education. So that's definitely been another way. And also, this is a big thing, is really being that expert in what you do. And that's got to be a huge benefit to really getting a lot of business, is being knowledgeable about what you do in your realm, right? So if you've done only 5 probate cases, I don't know if you can really have all of that knowledge you need, but when you've done a lot of them, it brings a lot more to the table so that you're able to provide so much value when it comes to building the network and building connections.
I agree. Definitely networking, word of mouth, and content creation. I've appealed greatly to the Spanish speaking community. So I discuss estate planning and TikTok videos in Spanish. So I've been able to do that. And many people that just feel comfortable, especially in South Florida with a Spanish speaking attorney. I speak and write perfect Spanish. So I'm able to discuss with them their probate issues. And I agree, it's so important to be an expert in your field. So I've been in probate, I interned in court, I clerked, pretty much my majority of my legal career has been probate. So I'm not really like shocked by anything anymore. I hear these stories and I'm like, oh, I remember a similar case that I worked on that involved this and that, and this is what I did here. And this is what needs to be done there. And just people being comfortable with you and knowing that you know what you're talking about, I think that creates a great referral system too. I've had a previous client say, hey, I sent this person your contact information to call your office. They have this issue going on. So that's how I've been able to create my book of business.
So for me right now, the number one way I do it is I do seminars and I do sponsored seminars. I'm not hosting my own. So I'm brought in by a credit union or a financial planning firm or CPA firm to deal with their high net worth clients or just their rank and file clients on the drafting side for drafting trusts. My main thing that I hear from 99% of them is I've meant to do this my whole life, or it's been a number of years that I've meant to do this. And your presentation was done in such a way that it took away my fear. And that, I realized also the importance of, if I don't do this, I have an estate plan waiting for me from the state of California. I have a lot of bad things headed my way if I don't take action. And I lean heavily on that in my seminars. Right. In the beginning of my career, I talked for an hour on what a trust is. That's irrelevant. At some point, people understand what it is. The key ingredient in my seminars now is I talk about our litigation cases. Don't let this happen, right? There's a lot of people going to trust mills. There's a lot of people going to document drafting services, and they're getting inadequate representation. There's people going to law firms. Like I said, you have 190,000 attorneys in California. If you ask all of them, and you do a will or trust, 100% of them will say yes. But it just isn't their bread and butter. It's not their specialty. It's not something to download, especially when you're dealing in the Bay Area or Northern California with tax planning, real estate planning, all the high net worth stuff. That's a full-time expertise.
Yep.
So
So yeah, obviously inbound referrals, estate planning seminar, sponsored seminars.
yeah, in the past, I actually got a ton of business from networks or not. And not every attorney does that. So I was part of a group. This is about 10 plus years ago, called BNI. If you're familiar. I've been in a bunch that never amounted to squat. In fact, I was in a networking group, a BNI group, where I was invited to join by other people. And it was 10 months of wasting my time. It was just money and time down the toilet. It went nowhere because half the people couldn't give you business, and it just wasn't how they made their living. It had nothing to do with me. You know, the auto mechanic, great. That's just not somebody sending me business. You know, no one's asking their auto mechanic for an estate planning attorney. So from that group, what was hilarious is the CPA left, and that CPA I still do business with today, 15 years later. From that terrible group, I still have one of my best referral partners is the CPA member. But when she left, I was looking around. I'm like, anyone going to replace this person? They're like, oh, I'm like, that was half my business referrals walked out the door. It didn't matter to them at all. So I finally got wise. I talked to the person in the group that gave me the rest of my business, the financial planner. And I said, I'm thinking of starting my own group with people who are focused on high net worth, estate planning, financial services. You get a financial planner, you get a CPA, you get a trust officer from a bank, 3 different insurance guys, right? You get property casualty, you get life insurance, commercial business, you get mortgages, a mortgage rep for personal mortgages for your house. You get people who do commercial mortgages, 2 different groups. So you get people who are symbiotic to each other and don't cannibalize each other's business. And the P&I model, you can't have 2 people in the same category. But the value of being in front of those people every single week to give you business. We had like 4 different attorneys. I had a criminal lawyer, myself as the estate attorney. We had a real estate guy. I sent him a ton of business. I had some clients got into some stupid mess with real estate, sent it to the litigator.
I mean, what you're discussing is very similar to what we've taught in this course is really build that referral network around the community resource. So the difference here is it's not just a professional networking container. It's actually a public facing resource where we share that conversation. So we're actually sharing the estate attorney, the CPA, the registered investment advisor, the nursing home employee, the care manager, the social worker. And we can actually get the referrals in real time by providing public facing content that people could benefit from and build trust over time. So that's kind of the modern day take on what you were doing back then. So, and you know, it just the student here or the real estate professional shouldn't feel 100% ownership in that. It should be everyone that's involved should be an admin and feel that ownership. So they're incentivized to keep it moving forward. Of all the sources of business that we've discussed, like all the different ways that you have and can get business, which of those has, in your experience, yielded the best quality or the ideal type of client that you want to work with?
It's got to be the networking, the either face to face or just going out there and just really meeting people that know what you do. And then the other thing is you can market and do all this all you want. If you can't churn out the results and be results oriented, forget about the marketing side, right? So it takes both of them, but it's the interaction with a lot of the network that really can yield a lot of business.
Savannah, what would you say are your highest quality clients? What's the source?
So I would say definitely I do a lot of presentations throughout the community, just basic probate, basic guardianship, basic to wheels brokerages and title companies and everything of that nature. And for them to actually be able to get to know me and just sit through one of my presentations and come up to me after and tell me, hey, I have this probate issue I want to discuss. That's created the best quality of business for me. I have all these people that sit through my presentations, reach out to me, realtors, and that's just, it's worked for me. So
Referrals from other professionals is huge, but I also have referrals from clients, and clients that I like refer me clients that I also like. They value what I have, and they have other people that think like them and have the same value systems. So they send them my way, and then we work together in a very similar manner to the person who referred me. It's rare that I get somebody who's, you know, really values what I do, and they send me one of their friends or neighbors or cousins who's like, this sucks. You know, how much do you charge, or why am I paying for this? Right. people would value you associated with other people who value what you do.